Hello everyone, and welcome to the first actual review of my summer project. Today we'll be talking about Shrek, the classic kids film from 2001 and the first ever winner of the award. While watching the films, I've jotted down a few notes of what I think is important to talk about, and we'll be using those throughout the reviews to come to a clear conclusion of my thoughts on each film. So with Shrek, I noted down that the animation quality, particularly for 18 years ago, is pretty damn impressive. It's occasionally stiff, and the impacts on the environments like footsteps and such are quite minimized, and that at points makes it quite obvious that they are just models on a background rather than characters in a real world. Other parts they are much smoother and seem to look like part of a larger world. I would say that the action is enjoyable and manages to maintain the comedic tone of the film, and the story is simple yet subversive of typical genre conventions. Where most films of this type would be happy to show you that their character is sad while alone, Shrek is pretty happy with his life, and everything that happens to him he seems to resent more than anything. And I love that part of the film, that it's ready to show you that not all adventures have willing participants. Some people are just dragged into this. The script itself is pretty funny and has lots of good jokes that, unlike other films of its age, don't age terribly. And a lot of those jokes are just straight up inappropriate for kids, but it's very good at hiding that in a very it'll fly over the kids' heads kind of way, with the joke compensating for something.
Oh, that's the place.
Do you think maybe he's compensating for something?
And the villain being named Lord Farquaad, particularly with Shrek's accent, being pronounced in such a comedic way for the parents to enjoy it, showing that the film isn't just aimed at kids with no enjoyment for the parents who just have to kind of sit through it so that their kids can stay quiet for an hour and a half. There's a lot of pop culture references throughout the film as well, with music like Pina Colada playing and the Bachelorette being referenced multiple times. And there's also some dark humor in there with the early on torture sequence with a gingerbread man that's somewhat traumatic for young kids if they're not, either don't understand it or pretty hardened childhoods. I think that the character of Fiona represents the audience knowledge of traditional fairy tales. When they first meet her, she expects to be kissed and that the dragon had been killed, and when she sees Shrek as an ogre, it's not a face of immense disgust, as she's well acquainted with ogres, which is a pretty subtle foreshadowing to the plot point later on, where it's revealed that she is an ogre too. And I really like that her character is used in such a way. I also really like Shrek and Donkey's chemistry, as it shows Shrek that not everyone hates him by default, and that character arc is really important for him, not just within the film, but in the franchise as a whole. And I also like that Shrek and Fiona's romance, while somewhat rushed, is pretty damn cute as ogres go. Although not everything about the film is great, with the partial mishearing trope being massively overused, and is such a tedious plot device to just kind of have your stereotypical conflict between the main characters between Act 2 and Act 3, just so there's some sort of resolution later on. And that's still very tiring to watch over and over again in every movie. But, I mean, it's not massive in this film. It takes all of about 10 minutes before it's fully resolved, and leads to some cute moment between Donkey and Shrek. There's another side to Shrek that I haven't touched on, and that's its meme-ability. Shrek is a meme in and of itself, with so many quotable lines and All-Star as the opening number, and the franchise has since fallen from grace pretty damn heavily, but I'm glad that despite how memed it's been since its release, it doesn't detract from its quality, and it's one of those rare cases where a film is a meme, but it's also still a good movie, unlike, Boss Baby, Emoji Movie, and the Bee Movie. The big question is, did it deserve to win? And 2001 had some pretty great animated features, its most notable being Monsters Inc., Atlantis, Osmosis Jones, And according to the Oscars, Jimmy Neutron Boy Genius is a classic, and Spirited Away was also released in Japan in 2001, but as the Oscars are an American company, doesn't get its rating till 2002, where it rightfully wins. Spoilers for the next video. And of those films, only Monsters Inc. and Jimmy Neutron were nominated alongside Shrek, but as I'm pretty sure anyone who's seen Jimmy Neutron can say, only Monsters Inc. really had a chance at taking the win, and while I would personally say that Monsters Inc. is my preferred film due to its emotional beats, excellent soundtrack, and high quality animation, however, Shrek is easily a close second, so it winning doesn't bother me one bit. I'm happy to say that Shrek is the first ever Best Animated Feature winner. So those are my thoughts on Shrek. Next up, I believe, is Spirited Away, which I'm very excited to revisit, as it's one of the best films I can remember from my childhood, and I hope that it stays that throughout this, but who knows, maybe something later in the list will overtake it at some point. Anyway, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.